Hello and welcome to the STB Racing League here for the Season 21 finale for Tier 3 at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix at the floodlights of the United Arab Emirates here at Abu Dhabi race circuit at Yas Marina. Coming to the end of the session, we've got yellow flags in all sectors at the moment. We continue to be letting people through, running out of fuel. We've got cars doing their final runs now. Coming to the end of this lap. Because of that Malda, we need to make a bit of a gap to the McLaren, or the Red Bull, sorry. Got a bit of time, I think. We've got about 30 seconds. But as you see, night time is kicking in here. There's got a bit of traffic now that you need to wait for the Red Bull to go. Yeah, got 20 seconds to go. Yeah, and off we go. We stay on board with Maldi. He's currently provisional pole. Very good lap with Maldi. We're still on board with him. Down to turn 1, normally a 4th gear corner. Can't really cut the curb anymore because I've built a nice sausage curb there. Flat through turn 2. Oh, bit of curb there, bit of sketchy turn. Flat through turn 3 and turn 4, which is not really a corner. Turn 5 now, which is a new hairpin. Braking about where the curb starts, bring the car in. It's quite a late-ish apex, not too late. Run it wide, carry the speed. Jamo just set up 23.7. US Open now, about 120 metres to brake it. Just after this round where the curb starts, about there, brakes on, get the car raced in. First gear, manual maybe, if you want to get a bit extra rotation. But second into third and fourth, short shift. Now take a tight line down into here, Mano takes a bit more of an open line into turn 9. Avoid the curb, that will make the car steer to the right. Mano takes a bit more of a wide line, did last lap, that's like they kept it quite tight. Oh, a bit itchy, Mano taking it nice. Gets the car so nicely, gets the car rotated. The Red Bull's actually catching up to I think that might be elite. And he span, and that's going to put Maldi off. And Maldi's validated his lap time. Maldi's going to be fuming about that. The Red Bull just span right in front of him to put him off. And that Maldi messed up Maldi's lap time. Here at Abu Dhabi, let's see what he finishes off anyway. If this is going to be pushing the pole, Maldi will be fuming. And it was a 23.737. That would have given Maldi pole position by about half a tenth of a second. But then Kazari goes and beats it anyway, so Maldi would have still been second, Maldi's now third, so maybe that Maldi won't be so fuming, but Maldi won't be happy that Kazari's actually is first place. Kazari will be a full-time second tier 2 driver next season. And so will Callum. Maldi and Jamo will stay in tier 3. Jamo hasn't done a full season, he will probably stay in tier 3. I think it's Alpha. It's Alpha. I don't know who was the other driver that's going to go. Oh yeah, McTendo. With McTendo, Kazari, and Callum with the drivers going up into tier 2. The extra qualifying session done. I just want to double check with the screen. Yep, just quickly checking the stream because obviously I've had to do all the new changes. Like for some reason I can't broadcast through the app anymore. I have to do it through the capture streaming captures section on the Xbox. So I'm just double checking the volume. I didn't check it actually yesterday. I just wanted to check to make sure the volume actually is still the same as it was in Twitch, which is minimum volume, not muted, but minimum. But yeah, got Kazari on pole position here for the finale here at tier 3 for Abu Dhabi, because Jamo P2, Essimadi P3 in the end, Callum P4, Cartel P5, new driver I think, Moncho P6, Takita P7, Alpha PZ P8, Toma P9. I couldn't see the rest. I was going to look into the stream, it's a bit delayed, but I just missed it. I will go race, I can't check the race director yet, but yeah, that is your qualifying for the final of this season, season 21. Tier 3 coming to an end. Obviously, we had Austria in Monday, and we had for Tier 1, and we had Netherlands yesterday for Tier 2, which was actually a really, really surprisingly good race. Quite controversial, a few incidents at the end, but it was very spicy, a very good Netherlands race for Netherlands. It normally doesn't really give the greatest of races, but it was a banging race yesterday with the mixed conditions. But it was great. So that's put this in mind. Obviously, we reran obviously Monday. We reran because of the Xbox wheel glitch, and then on Tuesday we postponed because of the Netherlands for Tier 2 because of England versus Wales in the group stages. So we missed that race as well. That's the reason why. So that's why Tier 3 is finishing this week. And then we've got the Abu Dhabi for next week. And look at the glare from the desert here. It's set to sunset. And off we go, that's beautiful. Look at that. Oh, sunset times 3 is nice and wonderful here. It's because the way they do the timing there. I remember when just Techers are all disqualified. They're going to be have freezing cold tyres for the start of this race. So don't expect them. So do expect them to drop positions at the start of this race. It's not like it's halfway through the lap. That's right at the start. They're going to be on 70-degree tyres, which is basically ice. As Maloney's been overtaken by Callum. But yeah, got a nice sunset here. So yeah, but obviously because of the real life, because ×1, obviously because it would only be half race distance, obviously 50% races. When you get to the end of the race, it's still like dusk, not quite night time. So we do some time progress adjustments. We did sunset ×5 qualifying, sunset ×3 for the race, so we can get a bit more quicker. So we can get to some sort of this sort of sunset sort of visual to a full night race towards the end, maybe around like 15-16. Should hopefully turn back into get to full dark. It was, but they did try and say ×4, but we pitched back by that 9, which is a bit too early for Maldy. Maldy's very pedantic when it comes to his time of days for these sort of races. But yeah, it's very interesting to see. We've got Kazara P1, Jama P2, Maldy P3, Kalam P4, Qatar P5, Moncho P6, Takeda on the mediums of P7. Let's see what the strategies are. Tyres, mediums and hards, one stop is not the case. I think now the nature of the circuit, because it's more high speed, it is more of a one-stop strategy because there isn't as many low-speed corners anymore. So the extra tyre grip isn't as needed as much anymore as it was last season with the old layout. So yeah, you've got Takeda P7, Alpha Z P8, Toma P9, Momo and Tekka's P10 and 11, Elite P12, F Matador P13, Mafita P14, Matador C15, Chaos P16, Pirello P17, Borowski P18, Eddie Core P19. And surprisingly, more hard runners at the front than at the rear. Surprisingly, you think it'd be the very rounds. You think more medium runners. But then again, I think the two at the top are normally a bit more aware of their strategies compared to everyone else. As we wait for Eddie, who's just already been teleported to the grid, waiting for Borowski. Going very slow onto his grid slot. Parks it very nicely. Lights coming up, obviously it'll be a glitch start. Look at the glare, look at the sun. Obviously lights up, coming up for them now. It's the finale for Tier 3 here at Abu Dhabi. It's lights out and away we go, and there's a bit of a jittery start as everyone gets off the line. That's the mine weeds into the middle of the circuit. And it looks like Kazari gets a great start. Maldi up to P2, and Jama has a terrible start. He loses a place into turn 1 to Maldi as cars and Monchos fell all the way back. He's had contact with somebody into turn 1. He's all the way back to the last. There's also a Ferrari round. That is Matador, and he's got people having losing positions, and that is people losing positions everywhere as they come navigate through the new turn 5 hairpin. And they all seem to go around. There's a very wide Alfa Romeo. That will be Takeda or Tekka. I think that was Tekka's. As everyone navigates down a straight here. They're all even just looking for slipstream. Everyone's everywhere. I mean, there's no real lines. Everyone's all over the place trying to find some room. There's side by side. Oh, Mercedes hit the nasty Martin. That is, I don't know. That is, I believe, Callum hitting the back of Cartel. And now from there, that is Takeda losing the rear end out of the last corner. These F1X drivers do not use any assists in the Spanish league. So, oh no, what's AlphaTauri? That's Toman off the circuit. What's he doing? No, what's Toman doing? He's driving like it's the old layout or something. I don't know what the fuck he's doing. As everyone now, everyone parades through here. I saw also car. That's Callum. He's spun, he's lagging, he's spinning, and he's left the session. Typical Callum style. That will be like we talked about yesterday. You can't just leave the session. You have to retire on circuit. If you leave without any reason, if you just spin and leave, that'll be an instant penalty given to you in the next race. Oh, and Tekka's, he used the outside of the circuit, the curb. You can't use that curb anymore. You can't use that curb on the entry to the second to last corner. It doesn't work. There's an Alpine round as well. That's Borowski. This track is really catching his T3 drivers off. This circuit is not as nice as it used to be driving. I used to prefer the old circuit a lot more. Maldi disagrees. He thinks the way around. Maldi prefers the circuit. I prefer the old circuit. This one, there's just too many banks, corners, off camber corners that just want you to spin. There's too many curbs. This curb here is horrible on the inside. You can't use it. And the same on the outside, going into turn 9 is horrible. He wants to force your car off the circuit. It's not nice. I don't like this layout. I don't like it at all. I was so good in the old circuit. I was one of my best circuits. And the feet is crashing into brake marker boards. And there's not much action going on though in terms of racing. Everyone seems to be single file. I honestly think this layout's worse for racing. So we've got a Ferrari and an Alpine. That's Elite and Takeda making contact. Now it's something. The battle just gets diffused. It just felt like it's a bit like oh, never mind. There he goes. Elite's round, and that's one of the reasons why I don't like that sector corner. It's so snappy on the rear. The rear really wants to go as the grip releases, as the bank's corner disappears. You suddenly lose a lot of grip. I feel like. I'd rather get a 3-second time penalty from the old chicane that used to be there than spin. At least the chicanes you can actually gain time by taking it in a certain way. But now you got corner, you try and take it. If you lose a rear end, you're gone. I just don't like this layout at all. I know, and that's Kazari. Kazari's round at turn 3. He's got front wing damage, and that'll be Maldi's eyes just turn into giant hearts. Maldi is flying at the moment. He's 2 seconds ahead of Jamo. Out to the lead now as Kazari spins. As we've got Takeda right in the back of Memo. And Memo's up to P3 despite having that moment in the formation lap. He's up to P3 here. But then again, a lot of people have Span in front of him. And that is Tekker's again, Span at turn 3 himself. Navigating through the chicane, and Takeda gets up to P3 here. These guys are on the mediums. I'm not sure how long they take these tyres. I have not done a race around here yet. I'm not a big fan of this circuit anymore. And I'm saying that's Tess. Is that Callum that's just stopped in the middle of the circuit? Did he? Crash into the line. And Tekker's is DNF'd on the circuit. Hopefully shouldn't maybe cause a safety car. It doesn't seem to. Another spin at St Alp. There's lots of spins. I'm expecting a lot of spins today. It just isn't nice. This track is. Honestly, that would never happen if the old circuit was here. It was a lot more controlled. That section was. I just prefer it. I really do. I do not like that new corner. It just feels lackluster. It's just another place to mess up. You can't mess up with 3 slow speed corners. You can't screw it up. There, he's just asking for someone to spin. Kazari's in the pits, obviously he's got front wing damage. He's going to have to pit onto a set of mediums. And if he has a second set of mediums to use, he can do a mediums to the end. But that is his race. Effectively destroyed. We've got Eddie, got 2 Red Bulls going side by side here through turn 5 as they navigate through the new section. As Eddie's got DRS and Citrus in the side by side. I think that'll be Callum DNF. I think that's a varsity time penalty. In fact, it's all about there. I think he'll be DNFing. No, as usual, going on to the full wets. Yeah. Not the first time I've seen Callum do that. I'm pretty sure he did it last week as well. He did it in Mexico. I know he went on to wets when he shouldn't have done to wets. In the middle of a desert here, don't need any water dispersion. Yeah, nothing much happening. There's a couple of cars close. Got Toman on the back of Cartel. I'm not going to say the rest of his name. I'm going to call him Han Yilmaz. I don't know if that's the I or an L. No clue what that is between the Y and that L looking thing. I don't know if that's a weird I or something. So I'm not going to attempt to say that. I'm just going to call him Cartel. Well, I'm going to say Cartel because I think he did race last week, didn't he? I think he under a different name there. More yellow flags. That's Callum. Yeah, on the wet tyres, being an absolute numpty. I say Maldi's just running away from this. Jamo hasn't got a pace to keep up Maldi, which is actually quite surprising, considering that Jamo was faster than Maldi. But then again, according to the qualifying, he wasn't until Maldi's lap got invalidated. Shuffling going on there. That's Chaos has gone straight on at turn 7. He's lost his front wing. I don't know how the hell he got all the way up there. That must have been the full speed going straight on. I don't know how the hell he's crashed into there. Even if it was contact, he will never get that far. Because he would have slowed down by that point. I don't have a clue how he's going to do that. Pirlo is on to a set of softs, where I don't know why. That will only probably last in about 10 laps before he has to pit again. Callum's got another 5 penalty to be in the pit lane. If I was Callum, I'd just retire, just to the bother. Point. He's on to another set of wet tyres and a front wing change. He's already been lapped by STB. STB's in the league of zone. He's gone another half second to Jamo. Jamo just hasn't got a pace to keep up with STB. Why is Jamo not using his overtake? He's got 100% overtake with him. Use some of it up, man. Every time you hit 100%, you're losing battery percentages that you can gain later on in the race. Because suddenly doing that, you're losing electricity power. This is why I just keep it around 50%, so you've always got some there to stash up. But every time you hit 100%, you're losing electricity that you could gain another point. And now Katiga is just flying past. Jamo's not used any of his overtake, as Callum picks a 5 penalty for crossing the white line on the exit. Nothing new there. Chaos is pitted on set hards. Whether those sides can get to the end or not, I don't know. Might be able to. Mardy looks like it could be an easy dominating victory. Mardy really seems to like this circuit, weirdly enough, despite the nature of the circuit. I don't know the fun of it. Callum is finally retired. About time. And it's caused a safety car, a virtual safety car. It's just a virtual. I think Mardy would be very happy with that. I don't think Mardy would want a safety car. And Pirlo's pitting again. Does he have damage? Going very slow into the pit lane. I don't know why people are going 20 miles an hour into the pit lane. That doesn't make any sense. Another safety car is out. It's a full safety car now. A full safety car has come out now. It's only just come out. Another safety car has just been. It's gone from a virtual, and it's turned into a full safety car. And Maldy's actually slowing down to wait for the pit lane, to wait for the car to come out. I think Maldy doesn't want. That's actually clever, that is, Maldy, because that stops Jammer and Memo and Alpha Z and Cartal and Eddie to pit under the safety car, because they'll be already queued up by that point. That's actually a lapped car. That's Pirlo, that is. Yeah, Maldy's done that purposely so these guys can't pit, because everyone's going to be bunched up now, so it stops them from having to have the ability to pit under the safety car. Because if they do, they will risk losing multiple places. So, but anyway, no, people might have on the hard and they'll have to keep going. People like Memo and Cartel, it would really bug. Did Memo just overtake? Or was it already ahead in the first place? I think it might have already been ahead. Looks like they've been overtaking each other under the safety car. Zara is able to regain himself. He can now do a medium, so he's actually back in this race, but he is in that net position because he is still yet to make a pit stop in this race. But somebody like Takeda, who's 3 positions ahead of him on the hards, doesn't have to pit again. So if Kazaya wants to get ahead of Takeda, he will have to overtake him, gain some time, pit again, then re-overtake him, which is a tall order. And I'm pretty sure they're bringing the 3 softest compounds to Abu Dhabi. So those hard tyres are, even though they're quite slow, they're quite durable. Which tends to work in some circuits. Like I said, 2-stop was normally quite a common, quite a favourable strategy around Abu Dhabi, but obviously that was with the old layout, which was a lot more slow-speed corners. And obviously a lot slower lap times, obviously more traction zones. Obviously the softer tyres would actually favour the 2-stopper, but now, because it's such a high-speed track now, compared to what was before, and it's lost the position to Alpha Z, that's what's going on here. Go. Now these guys just swapped positions twice, and how that's happened. Don't know what's going on between them two. But yeah, what he's doing. He's making a big gap. Not sure what he's accelerating and braking at the same time for. So yeah, but because it's nature's high-speed track, tire difference. It's not as big as it was before. So the harder compounds are more appealing to this sort of layout with the higher speed corners. The soft tyres might overheat a little bit, especially around the nature of this circuit. So one stop is a lot more favourable now. Two stop might still kind of work, but it'll probably be a lot slower than it was before. A lot less competitive. But yeah, I don't really like the circuit, this layout, to be honest. It's just a bit, especially that turn 9. I just don't like it. The other bits are not too bad. It's just I don't like these off camber. This one's not too bad, but you have to take it. It's off camber. The apex, it really puts you off, and this one's just horrible. Like, it's a pain in the ass, and that's a very late safety car call. Maudi will have to back up the track as much as possible. It'll be a very late call. Obviously, I think the trail's just backed up really late to the back of the safety car. Maudi will have to gun it out the last corner. Maudi's not really feeling much favours here. He's gunned it, and Jamo has reacted pretty poorly considering the way Maudi had to lack of options that the Maudi had, and people are already spinning already. At the moment, I think that's Papa Devil's. He's off the circuit as well. I think must have some damage or something. There's now Vatari off. That is atonement. Not great for him. As Maudi continues to lead the way, has 4/10 gap. Maudi will now have to reform that gap he had earlier, about 4 seconds it was. Right, having a bit of a sniff on Jamo there. Memo's still on those softer medium tyres, but at some point they are going to start coming off. I don't know when the pit stops are going to happen, or whether that's lap 10 or lap 12. You want to go for those mediums. And there's more spinners. There's been a bit of an incident here. It's Wawowski, I think. He had the spin. Havenos has done back down to P7, 16. Back at the front. Maudi's unable to bridge a gap at the moment. Obviously, these hard tyres are not very nice on restarts. They kind of feel a bit different after the virtual safety car because the temperatures drop. And they don't quite feel the same after that because the tyres tend to form in a different way than they used to. And Kazar's been given a 3 time penalty for multiple warnings. Still easy to do on the circuit, but obviously it's not as easy as it was before because obviously you haven't got as many chicanes now to take. Because obviously it was very easy to get penalties into the turn 5 and 6 chicane, which used to be just for here, going to here. It used to be very easy to get warnings here, and obviously it would be very easy to get warnings into the chicane of what was turn 7, 8, 9. Or it would have been turn 10, turn 11 and 12. Very easy to get warnings as well, which is that little chicane, which is where the new turn 9 is. That was easy to get warnings there as well. So, because all these chicanes be taken out. Oh my god! I've just seen a Roman Grosjean, Sakir, and Pirlo has just gone full speed into the barriers, and I think Pirlo cannot get away with that. He's just caused the safety car by going full speed into the barriers. Don't know why he did that. But you can't. I just saw that in the background. The AlphaTauri driver, he was a lap down. He went full speed into the barriers there. I'm not sure if you guys saw that as well, if anyone's watching. But that was a full speed into the barriers. I don't know what the hell Pirlo was doing. That's just caused another safety car. This makes it a lot more interesting, but I think the medium runners will have to pit. They will need to. They'll need to take advantage of this. If they pit now out of the safety car, then it's just good. It's good. That's racing conditions. They will still lose the positions anyway, unless they want to risk. I'd pit if I was there. I think you got to get the mix pits up done while the safety car's out. Maybe the pits, yeah. It's expected to go on the hards. You have to. I mean, it's not nice having to lose other positions, but it's better to get the risk over to getting them pit stop done under the safety car, and then get your pit stop out of the way. I mean, yeah, you can get into track position, but you actually probably lose more time because then you're losing 20 seconds instead of 10. Plus you can back up because of the safety car, and then, like I said, these guys should navigate these slower people a bit quickly, so like people like Papa Devils or Chaos and Toman and Rafita should be quite easy to navigate for these guys, because you know, tier 3 is a very diverse tier with nationalities, and pace wise it is the most probably broad range of pace. This is the lowest tier. Obviously you have a wider range of drivers to be able to pick, because obviously you go from anyone that's about slower than tier 2 pace and pretty much down to filling it. It's what makes tier 2 such a difficult place to find drivers for that specific pace, because you've got to make sure they're not going to be too fast to clash with the tier 1. They can't be too slow where they're going to clash with the upper guys of the tier 3. It makes it very complicated for them. For the people to actually get their drivers in for that specific tier. That's why you tend to see quite a few tier 3 drivers doing some tier 2 races with reserve, because their pace is actually strong enough to be competitive in tier 2. But I mean, yeah, you expect to be a bit of crossover point. I mean, there's some tier 2 drivers there that are probably going to be picking quite a few of the tier 1s. But there's always going to be a little bit of crossover. I mean, it's like 2014 in Spain, where I think it was the Caterham F2 car was actually faster than the F2 F1 car itself. You know what I mean? But that's not a suggestion, that's just the car being crap. But yeah, me jabbling on about F1 2014. He didn't pit, Kazai didn't pit. He obviously wants to stay on his mediums, so he doesn't have a set of hards left. He doesn't have a fresh set of hards. So we have to commit to the 2-stop onto another set of mediums. But his tyre's not as worn as those guys. It will keep going to probably about that 18 or something like that, and he'll pit probably around the same time as these guys on the hards. So he's effectively on the same strategy as everyone else, all the hard runners around him, especially in that top 5. But he's just on the medium tyre and a little bit fresher. Effectively, he's in a better position he is than Eddie. He's on the older hards, because they should pit around the same time onto another set of mediums. That's if Kazari has another set of mediums. If he doesn't, you'll have to stretch those tyres onto a set of softs, or go back onto the old hards, which I don't think is recommended. You don't want to be on a worn hards at the end of the race, especially when the hards are quite a bit slower than the mediums. It's going to be difficult to say, I'm not sure. If he does have those mediums, then it's all Gucci for him. The medium is a very favourable tyre around the circuits. The hard's a bit too slow, the soft's a bit too wear out too quickly. Medium's just right. Just like, what was it? What's it called now? Goldilocks and the Three Bears. That's it. Where the one porridge is too hot, one's too cold, and one's just right. Yeah, the medium's that one. So anyway, talking off about Goldilocks and the Three Bears. So we need to talk about the race. As you can see, it is getting dark here. Coming into pitch black now. Lap 12. Better than what Maldi would have thought. I was hoping he would save a day of time for a little bit longer, but Maldi's got a lot more time to figure out when he wants to go. But it doesn't seem to be slowing down that much. He likes to keep it at quite a high pace here. I think he's just going to gut it like he did last time, go out the last corner. Right now, safety car's not ahead enough. Yeah, Maldi now can go in if he wants. Safety car's in the pit lane. Maldi will just probably gun it out the last corner. Just gunned it, yeah. And now it goes. Jemo, again, just struggling on traction compared to Maldi. He's lost about 2 tenths just on exit lane. Maldi's trained some of his overtake, which also helped with that. Jamo doesn't really seem to use his overtake very often. He's off the track. And that's all off the track. Alpha Z's off the track as well. Takeda is taking P3 here at Abu Dhabi. He's on the fresher set of media and the hards. So that might answer some questions to why that happened. Papa Devils is round at turn 1. Whether he's got some damage or not is another question. Can't tell because the camera does not want to change. No, yes, he has still got his always front wing. And he'll continue on late. Right at the back of Eddie here. He's actually not losing time. Seems to be running quite high wings. I always find it quite difficult to get a setup around here now because of the mixture of corners it has. Oh, the red door's going to be close, bit of front wing touching with Eddie and Ping here. Ping, Eddie. Obviously leaks on the fresh tyres compared to these guys. Right? Our Kazai's all the way up into P4. There's mediums and still got some very solid pace. I feel that's fresher. and they have an extra half second at least on pace-wise. His mediums are working very well for him, and he's still yet to pit himself. So Kazari is well back into this race. He's on better tyres, people around him, and he's yet to pit. Takeda might not need to pit again. So if Maldi and Joey and Jamo are going to pit, they need to pull a gap on Takeda here. Takeda doesn't need to pit again. And if he can get these tyres to the end, he could be on to win this race. Unless Maldi can get some same pace on those mediums and re-overtake him. But Maldi needs to keep his pace up here. You can't let Takeda get ahead and pull away. It's the last thing he needs. It's the person that he's on the one stop. Oh, sorry, he's on the slightly alternate strategy to gain advantage on him. Joey, I can call him Joey, Jamo. On the back of Maldi. Maldi's not able to keep that pace that he had at the start of the race. Maldi was pulling the gap on Jamo, and Takeda's just gone. Why is Jamo not using his overtake? He's not. I've not seen him touch the overtake button all race. Does it have it assigned to his wheel or his pad? Because obviously it doesn't look like he's using his overtake, does he? Doesn't know how to use it, does he? He's not using it now. He's just letting people through. He's not using his overtake. Jamo, use your overtake. Why aren't you using your overtake and he's getting shoved across? Because he's using it now. A bit late now, man. He's getting swarms now because of it. That overtake button is always used as defending as well. And Takeda's now on the back of Maldi, and Maldi's really cocking up. He can't let Takeda pass. Because soon Takeda gets past Maldi, Takeda's got fresh air, and every single lap that Takeda will do, he's going to be pulling away from Maldi, and that's more time that Maldi will have to find. Maldi needs to keep it under a pit stop to at least, because now when Maldi pits, he's going to be 22, 23, 24 seconds behind Takeda when Maldi comes out the pits, and he will have to find all that time on the set mediums. Takeda looks like he's in a good chance here, again a good race finish. Kazari's also gone wide at turn 1. His mediums are still working quite well at the moment. So he is in a good position as well, but he's also in a situation. Oh, he's up the inside of Takeda, and I'm not sure Maldi will be happy with this or not. I think he'd rather actually Kazari be ahead, because last he wants is Takeda to gain an advantage on that alternate strategy, which seems to be working for him. He's in a great place here, Takeda, and he's now on a position to battle with Maldi, up the inside of Maldi, and he's got the move done. And that's Takeda. Oh no! And Kazari's made contact with Maldi! And Maldi's not going to be happy with that! Kazari has made contact with Maldi, and Maldi's now dropped down to P10, and he's a pit stop behind everyone. Maldi's out of this race. Maldi needs a miracle. Maldi needs a safety car. That's what Maldi needs now. Maldi's not actually in the race. And Maldi is out of effectively of this race, that contact. Oh, and a leaks round. He's made contact with the barriers. I think he should keep it damage. No safety car needed. But oh my god, that is not the first time that they made contact in the last race. Obviously in Brazil, they made big contact. But yeah, I think what's happening is that Takeda went up the inside of Maldi. No, Takeda went up the inside of Maldi. I think Takeda went up the inside of Maldi. And then Maldi then tried to do, I think, a switchback. And obviously, because he took a different line, he made contact with Kazari. But the thing is, this car behind is who is the one that's at fault. Because at the end of the day, it should be reading that. I had the same situation happen to me when I was going for that corner. Very similar situation. The car in front did the switchback. I then made contact with the car in front because it was going a lot slower doing the switchback. And actually, I made contact with them. Got damaged, but because I made the contact, even though I didn't think it was my fault, because I still managed to cause the collision, I got the penalty for it, and that's going to be a situation with Kazari. And they have to keep the penalties equal, and that might be in bad shape for Kazari. That'd be a penalty probably coming his way. Even though Maldi was going slow and taking the alternate line, Kazari is what caused the incident there, and that's put Maldi really on the back foot now. Maldi's got a penalty now, probably because he was not being able to keep himself at play. No, he's not another driver. That's the same driver he's taken out. He's not even another driver. That's the thing. Trying to get the switchback, yeah, guys, because I should anticipate that. Yeah, but then again, it's happened to me, this guy. I've had the exact same situation. Oh no, Monchong came and made collision. I saw Williams go round and I shut myself. Toman's left the session. They made contact and both of them spin round. It seemed like an audacious move at the inside for Toman there. Mancho's not going to be happy with that. He's on the mediums. But that's given Maldi a couple of free places. I'm sure Maldi won't. He's not going to be happy, but I'm sure something's gone his way. That's a couple of cars cleared for him. He can now concentrate, get back behind Eddie. He's still racing these guys in front. This podium is still here because Jamo. Oh, sorry, Kazari is actually P2's on the cards here. So everyone in front of Maldi's got to pit again. We've got to pit like he does. So Maldi, if Maldi can still have the pace to overtake all these guys in front, up to Kazari. Maldi's still on for a P2 here. But Maldi needs some unleash some pace. I think Maldi won't have to make a pit stop now. I think a pit stop should be happening this lap. Maldi should really pit before he catches up to the cars. And that's Kazari round, and Maldi will feel some karma there. That Maldi will be feeling some unfelt karma. That is, Maldi will be celebrating that DNF. Maldi will be very happy with that. I'm sure that will definitely cheer him up. And now Maldi goes into pits, going for the undercut here. That's very, very clever of Maldi, getting the undercut on these guys. Get some easy positions. Maybe need to be P2, maybe you can try and get him. Yeah, Maldi's done the right thing here, getting an undercut. Onto the same mediums, goes William Driver. So, I think when it goes wrong, it's coming back to Maldi now. I mean, still the victory is very far off. Very, very, very far off. Maldi's got a little bit of fresh air to Matador, but I'm sure that gap won't take very long to come down, considering it's Matador on a set of hards. Yeah, another corner, turn 9, classic. I do not like that turn 9. I'd just rather have the old chicane. I prefer it. It just seems, it just took a bit. It's just another high-speed corner. I think that chicane. It was quite interesting because it was a sharp left-hander going to a very sharp double chicane, and it really made you have to play smarter around that corner. Because if you could carry the outside line into that sharp left-hander after the DRS straight, as these guys are fighting it, and if you had the outside line, and if you were ahead, the person on the outside going into the chicane, which is the right-left chicane, so that's into the start of sector 3, where the new turn 9 is, oh, and Morski having a bit of momentum, that's going to allow Tavita to have a moment here, and get past the teammate, but he's going to have to back out yet. But yeah, and then obviously because of that, it forced the person on the outside going into the chicane to back out, and it made it very interesting. Or if you could see it on the inside into the left-hander after the DRS straight, and make the move stick before the chicane, then you've got to play it smart. Oh, and yeah, that's why I don't use that curve at the inside of turn 2. It feels like it unsettles you. I can use it inside curve at turn 3, but not the one at turn 2. It just doesn't feel comfortable to use that. But yeah, I just felt I preferred it because you had to play it strategically into that corner, depending on what position you were. If you were a bit further behind, you would steam at the inside. If you were alongside him, you would outbrake him around the outside, take the corner around the outside, carry the speed, and just take the inside line to the next chicane. And you had the position done, and obviously, sector 3, you couldn't overtake. I just preferred it. And plus, the chicanes made it a lot more. You had to be a lot more precise, and you couldn't really spin around there, you just got corner cuts. But here, it's just clumsy. It's so easy to run the ride or get on the curve. This curve here is deadly. Don't know why you have a massive curve there if you can't use it. What's the point of it? They've got a massive curve there, all that curving they've made, and you can't even use it. It's unnecessary. You might as well just have AstroTurf and just put AstroTurf there, and then just use the white line, like here. Just use the white line as the limit. Don't even need a curve. Or if you're going to put a curve there, put something that's a bit flatter and a lot more easy going. Particularly there's, I was saying that Cartel is going to keep going too. So everyone else is on the Gemmo and Alphas, all made a pit stop. Maldi's actually still. Maldi was just in the barriers. Maldi was in the barriers there. Team's got away with front wing damage. Maldi, I think, is just span. It's under Latifi. He's span. out there, it was an actually must have corners are off camber. It does catch you off, and the front is weird how you tend to spin, even on the better tyres. It tends to throw you off. Sometimes the harder tyres, you feel like more comfortable on them. But when you get onto the fresher tyres, you're carrying more speed, and when I this off camber corners, it doesn't feel very nice. Because obviously that higher speed of the corners you're taking, the car's more than the limits, despite having the extra grip from the tyres. That higher speed's just giving you more ability to spin. And now Maldi's, well, it's going to be difficult for him now. I don't see him getting any higher than P8 now at this rate. He's making his own mistakes now. I'll take it. I was going to do a switch back now. It's not going to work into there. Seriously. Oh, and that curb, yeah, it unsettles the car. And if you've got the grip around there, you just sweep up the inside. He's got the move done. Obviously up into P8. I want to fit wide for Elite as well. You're going to be getting warnings here, left, right, and centre. Memo has picked up a time penalty as well. That's Toman. See if we can get him in. I don't bother, he's on Fortnite. Forget about him. No, he's gets an easy move for him. There's Maldi's. 3 seconds off. Chaos. Let's break Maldi. He's not going to be scrapping for penalty. He's got a penalty as well. He's going to be scrapping for points in Maldi. Like I say, I think he could probably get. I think he might get Elite, and that might be it. I think Maldi will be scrapping for the last point here. Yeah, flags, Moncho, and Moncho has been caused in another collision. It's not been a good race for Moncho. It's like his 3rd or 4th collision with someone this race. Whether they're his fault or not, I don't know. He had one with Toman. He just had one there with Matador. He had one at turn 1 at the start of the race. He's been involved in quite a few collisions this race. It's not been a good race for the Williams cars today. Normally, Maldi's up there fighting for the podiums. Moncho's always scrapping there for the top end of the middle end of the points. Elite's been given another penalty. I think that's his 3rd penalty. Elite's not very good with these penalties. That's the biggest weakness I've noticed with Elite. Not very good at penalties. If you wonder what happened to Kazari, he span out. I think he span out and crashed, and then retired in the pit lane. I think he span out again through turn. I think it was turn 9. I think it was, and maybe he retired from it. I think that was what happened. I think it was turn 9. He span and crashed that. Yeah, I think Callum was right. Yeah, I think he crashed at turn 9, and then span, crashed, and I think he retired in the pit lane. I don't think it caused safety. I don't think that was a reason it caused a safety car. It might be actually. Can't remember. Or that Pirol was the last recent one. Anyway, we've only got 6 laps to go here. This race has gone pretty quickly. Obviously, Toman. Toman's actually not even racing. He's on Fortnite. He is. Every time I see him, he's always on Fortnite. Elite's still going wide, making mistakes. I think he's got like 3 penalties. Let's check the penalties. I think he's got like 3 penalties or something. Yeah, 3.9 penalties. I told you, Elite, he's not good at penalties. He's still got penalties. Jamo has been picked up a 3-second time penalty. But can Jamo catch Takeda within 5 seconds? But he's 20 seconds behind, just only 6-7 laps to go. I think Jamo will be barely scrubbing for points at the podium here. As Rafita, I think, went wide. Jamo is now fighting with Momo Rafita. He's got to be careful because he's Alpha Z. He's on for a podium here. He's got no penalties at the moment. And he's just made the move on Rafita. He's on much better medium tyres. He seems to have better pace, and he's not got a penalty. He's got DRS now on Memo, but too far behind. But I'm sure he'll take the penalty DRS down into turn 9. Memo's taking that curve, but I don't like to take. Okay, different lines. So Alpha C prefers to come back and take a double apex. Memo prefers to drift it wide and carry a bit more speed. But I think that's a bit more. They both have risks in their own way. Oh, I was about to say about spinning. Memo's lost a rear end, and now that's really backed up Alpha Z here. That helps Gemma a little bit. Now I was about to say before that turn 9, if you take a double apex, take a bit slower, and then put the speed on a bit earlier, you have your own risk. And Elite's out. He's retired on circuit. And what's caused him to retire? He's retired in the pit lane. He's out because they won a free position ahead of him. But yeah, when I say turn 9, take a tight line, you can control more traction, you can lose the rear end on traction. Then you have, if you take a more of a wider line for turn 9 and carry more speeds, you risk of just losing the rear end from just the rear end just going on you. So the corners are very awkward like that to do. So Takeda takes a bit of a middle ground. It doesn't really hit the apex, the second part, but it doesn't really drift it wide either. So follow Cartel. I think he, yep, see about middle, yeah, he takes a bit of a wide line there. Rather than a wide line, a bit delayed on power though. Jamo. I think he likes the more of a, yeah, he keeps it tight, that Jamo does. See different types of lines. I think people on the pads rather take a tighter line through there. My mate's on the wheel, he takes it wider, but he's very slow through there. He's still in 4th gear there. And then you got Chaos actually running a bit too wide there. Same with Rowski, but obviously these guys prefer a wide line. Matador, obviously Matador's a bit slow though, he's missed the apex there, but he likes to keep it tighter, despite it being on the wheel. Again, it's just preference. But yeah, there's not much going on though in terms of battles. Obviously Toman's not actually racing. It's not the first time I've seen Toman's AI driving around high up in the points. But all that leaving for nothing, where he could just easily bring in the points. He's lost a lot of points because he's not supposed to be there. Tell you what, he rage quits too often. And then he leaves, and his AI gets more points than what he does in the actual races. The AI is set to 70 for Tier 3. 75 for Tier 2 and 80 for Tier 1, just to give it a little bit of leeway for the pace-wise. Look, Takeda, this might be quite an easy victory for him at the moment, but he needs to keep it ahead of 5 seconds ahead of Cartel though. But I think that shouldn't be too much of an issue. But Cartel is on fresher hards, so that gap is going to start coming down. At 80 laps on those tyres are going to start falling away soon. I think after 20 laps, those tyres are going to start to wear out. Compared to visually, there's Cartel's tyres, and you can see Takeda's tyres. You just see there's a bit more of a. You can see the tyres a lot more. You can see a lot darker patch on that front right. So you can see it compared to Cartel. The tyres are the same texture throughout the whole of the tyre. So you can just see how much more worn those tyres are for Takeda. Those tyres have been under, I think, 2 safety cars as well. Come on, Rafita. Not even on the race. Oh, you just let what? What is what I think about Rafita? He just lets people through, then makes contact with Maldi, and then takes him out. What? I don't know why Rafita lets people through. Because when he lets people through, he takes people out in the process. I don't know why he does that. Why does he let people through like that, and then drifts onto the racing line? Why? I don't know why he's letting people through. He's racing for position. Shouldn't be letting people through, and because of that, it's caused Maldi to have another moment. Maldi's probably given up at this point. It's just, I don't know what he's doing, Rafita. God knows. He baffles with Rafita. He just lets people through. He doesn't even fight. He lets people through for no reason, and then he finds himself really slow on the apex. Somebody goes running outside of him. He drifts back onto the racing line, spins somebody out. He's alright as a driver sometimes, but sometimes he just makes a really dodgy, weird situations. He just lets people through for no reason. I don't know why he does that. I don't know why Rafita lets people through for no reason. Doesn't even fight. I don't know why he bothers racing if he lets people through. It's not like they're like making a move. They weren't even close. Oh, and that was Nalpine. Had a bit of a moment there. That was a. Borowski had a bit of a moment with Moncho and Eddie here. Maldy's actually 30 seconds behind these guys now. Look at that. 3 laps to go here at Abu Dhabi. It's been a bit of a weird one, not gonna lie. It's not been the cleanest race, to be honest. It's been a bit messy. Strategies are all over the place to the point where it's not actually very nice. It's a bit confusing. With all these strategies going on, it's a bit when you think, oh yeah, like people on the different strategies, but when it's messed up like this, you don't know who's quicker. Suddenly the people on really old hards are really far ahead. The safety cars are the really dodgy points. It actually kills the race because now you've got people who go on the mediums at start, gone to the hards, and now got a free safety. Now they've got the gap because the hard runners had to stay out. You know what I mean? And then they get a free clear air, just goes to the end, and it actually makes sense. Oh, and a cartel spun! And this is going to make life a lot easier for Jamo. But don't forget, Cartel hasn't got a penalty, but he's on old hards, and he's got to get his composure back, and Jamo's through. Jamo just needs to get that gap to 3 seconds, which I'm sure not won't be too difficult with the condition that Cartel's tyres are in. That's given Jamo a free position, but now he's 16.8 seconds behind Takeda. Mario's gone to Sart, he's going to go for the fastest lap here. Oh, there's a car round, that is Borowski. Another spin to add on to the list here. Been a very messy tier 3 race, it's just been a bit all over the place, not gonna lie. Been a bit. It's been like weirdly action packed to the point where it's boring in a way where she just expects it to happen, it just happens. Up the inside, Alpha Z goes. And he's gone wide. Managed to do a strict back move. Almost hit the back, almost loses the rear end. He floors it in first gear, which is not going to work out. But congratulations for bottling it up. He's going to have a bit of ERS to use. Got a really good straight line speed. Look at the straight line speed he's got. Bloody hell. Running some low wings, eh? Round outside. Contact's being made in 3, 2, 1. Oh, no, actually, they get the clean through there. Alpha Z on those fresher medium tyres, should be able to pull away a little bit. This is the last lap of the race. Takeda on for an easy victory here. Maldy's just going for the sauce of fun now. Maldy, I think, will be very happy to get this season out of the way. Said this many times. Said this last week as well. I said this early last week as well when he was going through Austria and Netherlands. He wished this season to get out of the way, get it done and sorted, and get on to the next season on a fresh page. Takeda's coming to lap Papa Devils. The defending they're doing Alpha Z. Jamo is still just about within ERS, but it's got no ERS left at all coming down the end of the straight. They took a lot better line through there. Alpha Z's messed that up quite badly, but then Jamo gets into the back onto the curb. He's got a bit of DRS, but it's not going to be enough, I don't think. And that third sector is very difficult. With Jamo on those mediums, it should be quite easy to defend through there. Lights flashing everywhere, people running low on ERS as they used everything up. Maldy, I think, it's just spanned again. I don't know if he set the fast lap or not. Takeda wins the race with the 5 second time penalty. 11 seconds ahead of Jamo. That gap's come down quite considerably. I think Jamo's thinking might actually had a span somewhere. 9 seconds ended up being the gap in the end. Cartel finished P3. Couldn't keep up with Jamo on those mediums with the penalty that he had. Alpha Z finished P4. Remember P5, I think Chaos might be finishing. See how many penalties they had. I think Chaos might stick at P6. Eddie right behind him, P7. Mancho P8 with multiple, he's not going to be happy with how many collisions he's had this race. Avita P9, questions could be doubted about him after that race. Toman AI will not finish P10, it'll be Rowalski who will get P10. Mastor P11. Maldi with a possible fastest lap, P13, unlucky for some. Haberdel's got lapped, P14. And yeah, it's a bit of a anticlimactic end to the season, I think, for this year. Obviously, Martindo won in the championship back in Japan, and it's not a race since because he sold his Xbox to get the PC for next season, hopefully. But yeah, it's a bit of a strange one. I think I might just end the stream at the end of the day, so I won't bother with the interviews. I really can't be arsed that race. I think I just want to get this done over with. My voice hurts a little bit, not gonna lie. Yeah, Takeda, your race winner. Deserved, yeah, but not in the way I think it would made it quite easy for him, to be honest. I think everything just went his way. He kind of came out of nowhere, to be honest, even the way he started. But yeah, it just seemed to go on his way. The safety cars early on in the race seemed to favour the people that started on mediums. It's the only time where the mediums, when you start on the soft tyres, actually works out. Especially when there's a second safety car, just to bring it back in shortly after. But yeah, the people that started on the hards kind of got pinched with the safety car. They couldn't pick because it would be too early for the mediums, but they had to keep going. But it just means that they're going to be a pit stop behind by the time they pitted. And yeah, Takeda wins the race there. Maldi did not get the fast lap of the race in the end. I believe it was Callum that got it. So if Takeda wins the race, we're from P7 in the end, I think it was. Yeah, P7. Gemma P2, Cartel P3, obviously P4, Mama P5, Carlos P6, Eddie P7, Ancho P8, Rafita P9, Taman P10, Rowalski P11, Mastor P12, Maldi failed to get the fast lap in the end, P13, Papadel's got laps, P14, the DNS Toman won't be P10, it'll be Rowalski P10, Mastor P11, Maldi P12, Papadel's P13, and then it'll be Elite DNF, Kazari P DNF, Pillow DNF, it's Kazari actually had the fastest lap in the end actually, Callum DNF'd at the end as well, and at the bottom is someone else, who I don't know who it is. But yeah, I'm just going to end the stream here. Obviously, we've still got 2 races next week. We've got Abu Dhabi for both Tier 1 and Tier 2 next week. So it is not over yet. Just ignore that. I don't know why it does that sometimes. Yeah, but obviously next season, obviously would be for Tier 3. It would be in 3 weeks' time from now. 2 weeks break. Obviously racing next week for Tier 1 and Tier 2 for Abu Dhabi. So make sure you come back for those races. I think they'll hopefully be a lot better than this one. So obviously come back for that, especially for Tier 2. The championship's still on. I think it's a 5-point gap in the Tier 2 championship right now between Crooken and I can't remember who it is now. It's McLaren to Crooken. Maytix and Crooken. That's it. Yeah, those two in the championship, right? So with 5 points to gap, obviously Tier 1's already wrapped up as well with SU7K winning it in Japan, I believe. So yeah. Thank you very much for watching. We will be back on Monday with Maldi in the comment box for then. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.